to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
And I'm Kayfabe Avenue, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And I'm E.A.
It's Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue. Tonight, we bring you the AEW Dynamite wrap-up. We're going to run down the show, talk about the highs, the lows, and give our opinion on it all. But before we do that, we want to implement something Focus kind of, brought to the table last week. We're going to start doing the ranking system before we get on to Dynamite, see where everybody's at in this roster. So let's get to that.
I haven't even seen these, so I'm really prepared to be disappointed right now.
All right, let's see what it is. Let's see.
You can't react to it. Come on.
All right.
Don't even look at it.
All right, you see that?
All right, nah, but you gotta maximize it though. Click on the picture. There you go.
All right. So I don't know where we were last week, but Pac is, again, for those that don't know, the TNT Championship and the World Championship, the AEW World Championship.
Mox used to be number one contender. He caught that loss.
He dropped down to 3.
Dropped down to 3.
Hangman shot up. Pac definitely shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Cody looks like he's in the same place, and so does Miro.
Yeah, because they didn't have singles matches. They haven't had singles matches in a while.
Right, so it counts in a different bracket, that loss.
Yep.
Yeah, so these rank systems, they are shared. I still will be adamant until the day they decide to split them that it needs to be 2 separate rank systems. I think having the round robin on 5 people kind of, convolutes the storyline, and it was very convoluted, over the past month. Hopefully with Revolution behind us, we'll get, more to form. There was a lot of, changes and repercussions coming from Revolution. We'll get more into that on Dynamite. So this is the women's ranking system. And of course, Hikaru Shida, champion 2-0. Red Velvet.
So last week Rio was number 1. Wasn't Rio number 1?
Rio was number 1, right? Because she only has 1 loss and drops that far.
Yeah, because the only reason why she was on the top was because she won the tournament.
That's crazy.
So then they dropped it down with that loss all the way down. And now they're looking at who's the next one that's undefeated this year. Red Velvet.
And Britt Baker's loss doesn't count from this past Sunday.
No.
On the pre-show.
No, that was a tag team match.
Yeah, so it's crazy to see Tay Conti number 2 at 6-2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing her in a world championship.
To tell you the truth, if it was up to me, they both be ranked number 1 contender, because it makes sense that you 4-0 and then you have a 6-2 person. So
out of this group of 5, who do you see possibly taking it from Shida, if any?
Probably Britt, because they already had Nyla win at one point. So I
think it's Britt Baker's time already.
Yeah.
Tay Conti, I think she's almost there, but she needs that next real big feud. She hasn't had that real solid feud with anybody to showcase herself.
She's not really in a storyline. That's the reason. She's only on the ranking system because she's with Dark Order.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's okay.
All right, let's move on to the tag team ranks. It's crazy to see that fall from grace or for one loss though, for real.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you come in and you win, you shoot automatically up because your win loss record is all the way up. But if you catch that one loss, whoo,
Yeah.
you gonna hit the ground quick.
Evident. So of course we got Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, the champions at 2-0. And then we have SCU 6-0, which I still feel that technicality in that battle royal, Royal Rumble, whatever it was, tag team Royal Rumble they had. I still feel like that was a loss. I still think SCU
Technically, the number one contenders right now, since this is the rankings before Dynamite, should have been Pac and Phoenix since they won the Casino Battle Royale, and they put it in the asterisk. Hey, they won Casino Battle Royale. That's the only reason why they're ranked number one contenders right now. That should be stated.
And that's the thing that pisses me off. You've had every other tag team on this except for Pac and Ray actually have earned their position on this ranking. We've been seeing them week in, week out, fighting, winning, or whatever the hell they've been trying to do to get scratch and claw the way to the top. We get these two paired up. They're not even the real tag team of their group. They win one match, and it overshoots the entire tag team division. And they once again put storyline over rank system.
Yes.
So it just feels like we're more than likely going to see for the next month.
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, I'm guessing. You know what? Now that you say that, now that I'm guessing is that what they're thinking is, Ray Pac and Ray Phoenix, they're a new tag team. The only reason why they're ranked number 5 is because the Casino Battle Royale. Yeah. That's the only reason that it set them up to the rankings, which is definitely not going to be considered number one contender though.
Which makes a conundrum here, storyline wise, right? Because if they just got onto the rank system because of the Battle Royal, how come SCU still a tag team if they lost that same match?
Because it was awarded to them that when they win the match, they get a tag team title shot. And that's the only thing that kept them on the thing.
No, but I'm saying you said that this win of Death Triangle was because of that Battle Royal, right?
Oh no. But they had a match on Dark too.
Oh, okay. See, now that makes
that's where that one comes from. No other tag team got a loss for the Casino Battle Royale.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
So, and the only reason why they ranked number 5 is because they only had one win and they won that shit. Because if they didn't win that shit, they would definitely not be on the number 5.
So we already know one of these teams are definitely not going to be the ones to take the Young Bucks titles away. So who do you think, outside the obvious SCU, who do you think might get that shot and take it?
Honestly, God only knows. Because straight up, if it wasn't gonna be Proud and Powerful taking it, leading it to a Inner Circle versus Inner Circle, MJF and Wardlow taking the tag team champions and leaving the Inner Circle, and nothing's gonna take it away from the Bucks. Let's be honest with them. Let's be honest. Like, this booking of the Bucks is literally more powerful than Kenny Omega on the cleaner phase. Like, they are so protected that it's not even funny.
Yeah, because I mean, outside of a match we'll talk about after we finish the rank, they really haven't been performing week in, week out either.
Who?
The Bucks.
I mean, to tell you the truth, in the past 3-4 months, they defended the title like 4 times. Let's be honest.
4 times?
Yes. Top Flight, the Acclaimed. Then it was
FTR.
Oh yeah, FTR. I forgot about them. Then it was, who else?
I think that's it.
Santana and Ortiz.
Oh, right.
Then
MJF.
Chris Jericho and MJF. That's 5 people in a span of 3-4 months.
But I'm talking about Dynamites.
Yeah, that's where where you think they've been defending it at. They only defended it once on a pay-per-view.
Well, you're right, because it is a quarter. It is quarterly.
It's quarterly, so
I don't know.
those
Well,
other.
I guess they probably
Two
spaced
of
it
those
out in a way that I
matches.
feel like they haven't defended
So
that.
two of those matches
in
was in
action, not supposed to
pay-per-view.
defend it.
Yeah, so 3 of those matches was on Dynamite, and they were against. Let's be honest, they were against Top Flight.
Yeah,
brand
because
new
the FTR match was the last pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and then MJF
Top Flight.
and Jericho was just on Sunday. So if you think about it, they only defended against Top Flight and Proud and Powerful in these 3 months.
Yeah, in these 3 months.
So they've only had two matches, about 2 to 3 matches, give or take, in 3 months.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's not crazy because they defended the tag team championships. It wasn't, and it's not like they didn't do other things in between. Because they had other matches other than these tag team matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really coming to the top of my head right now what they've been doing inside, outside of these particular matches, besides dealing with this whole Impact invasion thing.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, and then on top of that, like, what about what was it? Because they had another tag team battle royal that wasn't the Casino Battle Royal, like what, 2 months ago? They did. They already had a Casino Battle Royale 2 months ago, where not even a month and a half ago, where the Good Brothers interfered and cost them the Revolution match. So
right. That's true. Okay, so they have been active.
They've been active. It's just,
for me, I feel like they've just been so lost in their storylines that I haven't really been. The Bucks haven't really been wowing me recently.
You want to know what it is? You also got to remember there's 20. That's right, 20 other tag teams in AEW. Damn. 20. Is that an exact amount? The battle royal had 15 of them, and there was a lot of tag teams that are missing. So you got to keep that in your head when you discuss like the tag team certain things, because like, their tag team division is stacked. Like,
yeah, like, that's not even up for debate.
Like you have to give them all, and it's hard to showcase every single one of them. That's why you'll have SEU picking up 6 wins. With that being said, you'll have
what's going on with the Acclaim? How are they not even?
They're focusing on Max Caster.
But don't they have enough wins together in the last 3 months to touch this ranking?
Yes, I believe since. Well, I'm not. We'll get into it later. But two of these tag teams are gonna leave by next week, and it's gonna be Top Flight and either their country or the Claim is gonna be on the ranking list.
Oh, because of their interactions on Dark.
Yes.
We also got this new Elevation show that's debuting this upcoming Monday. So we'll see how that impacts the rankings next week when we do next week's Dynamite wrap up. So let's see, is there anything else? That was it as far as the rank system goes. So
yeah, I mean,
let's move on.
I mean, it's all right, I guess, the state of the ranking system, but it's like,
I will say it looks a lot better this week.
Excuses.
It looks a lot better this week than it did last week.
Yeah,
I will say last week we really was like, it does not make sense. Like, nothing on this made sense last week.
Like, honestly, not when I was looking back on the episode, when I was rewatching it, I was like, you know what? I know why certain things are a certain way, and that's what gave me the ideas for certain things. It's like, the first thing that the rank system does is storyline. Whoever Tony wants to put on top, Tony's gonna put on top. And how is he gonna do that? He's gonna book a match to be a number one contender, even though there was already no number one contender. But fuck, we're gonna make another number one contender and then shoot that tag team up all the way up.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Remember, look at the last ranking system tag team. SCU was 3 despite having a 5-0.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The only reason why MJF and Chris Jericho was ranked number 1 is because they won that battle royal a month and a half ago. That's the only reason. They still had that number 1 contender spot until they faced the Bucks. But other than that, like, there's no other reason why. There really isn't. There's no reason why any tag team should be above SCU right now.
Yeah.
There's no,
especially with their story.
Unless
Tony Khan decides to last week.
Unless Tony Khan decides that, you know what, I'm gonna take this idea out of my ass, motherfucking acclaimed rap battle for the number 1 contendership spot. So damn, Acclaimed gets number 1. That's all it is. It's whatever Tony wants it to be. He'll find a way to put that tag team there.
Yeah. And then if it doesn't make sense rank wise, he'll just pat the stats on Dark.
Basically, that's how Abaddon got a title shot.
And notice her fall from grace.
Yeah.
Notice her fall from grace after that horrific match that had nothing to do with a gimmick. Yeah. But let's move on to this week's Dynamite. They have just the usual open, a little recap of Revolution. The first match of the night is Rey Fenix versus Matt Jackson. And I'm just gonna say this was the match of the night.
Yeah.
Easily. I think anytime you put Rey Fenix in a situation with any of the elite, any of the real, top performers, no knock on anyone in particular, but we know who the top performers are in AEW. Anytime Rey Fenix is put in that situation, it becomes something that's like damn near instant classic. I was more invested in this match than I was in the Bucks tag team match of Revolution. Mm-hmm. And this was a one-on-one, but they went crazy. A lot of Canadian destroyers. I believe he did one to the outside. The way that Rey Fenix sold it, it was crazy. Yeah, that was definitely a great opener. It was definitely match of the night. This I give easily probably an 8, maybe 8.5. Just because I feel like great opener.
I feel like this is something that AEW should do with all of their tag teams. Showcase, different members of the tag team facing off in singles competition. That's how you prolong a feud, and, instead of doing packages and packages and packages and promos. And it's like, yo, and then next thing you know, it's like, yo, bro, I already heard from you last week. What else are you going to say?
The funny thing is, this is a very promo, very storyline based episode of Dynamite too. But it wasn't a bad thing this week. I will say that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good developments. Pretty much a lot of, me personally, I was complaining about a lot of storylines that I was just tired of. I was hoping Revolution kind of moved us along. And they really did that. They kind of answered a lot of my issues in this episode of Dynamite. So Rey Fenix pulls off the win on Matt. So obviously Rey Fenix, number 1 contenders with Pac. And we'll get more into Pentagon for those wondering why the actual tag team in this match of this group, is not actually involved in the tag team title situation. We'll touch more on Pentagon later. But you have any final thoughts on the match? What's your rank for this match?
I mean, I gave it a 7. I feel like they could have played it off a little bit more, and it should have just went to a draw, in my opinion. All these matches between Pac and Phoenix versus the Bucks go in draws until they face each other for the tag team titles. That way, nobody knows who the fuck's gonna win.
Not only that, it's like you build them all as like the Iron Man tag team. Like we all know they're all at like the peak. Well, more Pac and Ray Phoenix, I say, but the Young Bucks are not too far behind in their in-ring game. So that'll be awesome. Like Iron Man tag team story going to whenever they feel like they gonna defend. I hope that they learn from last quarter that probably less is more with some of these storylines, and they shouldn't really hold certain storylines all the way until the next pay-per-view. So hopefully they learn from that. But he said a 7. I gave it an 8, about an 8.5. I'll land on an 8. So the next thing up was Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston reacting to the end of the exploding barbed wire death match. So this was the big topic of controversy ever since Revolution went off the air. I personally did not like the pay-per-view in general, and it really didn't have much to do with the death match. The death match for me was the icing on the cake. For more on that, on details on Revolution, check out our Revolution review up on YouTube and all podcast providers. So check us out at Kayfabe Avenue. But I go more in depth there. We talk about Revolution and the real reasons. But for the internet community, this was the biggest problem with the match. So with the whole event. So Kenny Omega built this, bomb ring that had a timer. At a certain point, it was going to explode. And this was like supposed to be the craziest death match. And it wasn't. It wasn't even close to what a death match actually is. So it was
a hardcore match. I'll give him that.
It was a hardcore match. Yeah. It wasn't a death match. Not at all. Like, it wasn't a death match at all. It was definitely a hardcore match. But
this was, I would say this was more like an Extreme Rules ECW match.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was
with flashy sparklers.
This isn't no Schlack. This isn't no Nick Gage. This isn't no Jimmy Lloyd, G Raver, Zandig, or what have you. It just wasn't that. And Kenny, I'm not sure if Kenny tried to do a reference to Zandig with how he was dressing, but nah, you can't even hold a candle to Zandig when it comes to deathmatch story. Stop.
I don't know. I feel like Kenny's so trapped in giving us gimmicks that I don't really think he knows who he really is anymore. Like the cleaner in New Japan, clear focus. He had a clear attitude. You knew when he elevated his game, became New Japan Pro Wrestling Champion. You knew who Kenny was. He was the elite. He was the elite. Even through all his feuds, you knew who Kenny was. I don't recognize this Kenny Omega. I don't know who he is. He's a stranger to me in the past few years that I've been following him. So I don't know. I personally just don't like his approach to his gimmick right now. He's so lost in doing so much other shit. The gamer, the comedian, the straight shooter, like he doesn't know what lane to pick. But
he doesn't, not at all. He doesn't know what to do with his character.
It's so cheesy.
Now that he doesn't have Ghetto.
So cheesy at points. You know what? Probably Ghetto's booking definitely protected Kenny Omega and his whole, mystique. It's true. Not only that, he in Japan you could get away with a lot of that gimmick style, that cheesy comedic, how he does in BTE, like, super tongue in cheek. You get away with that in New Japan, because that's a lot of the style out there, and we'll get more into that when we touch on the Joshis and stuff. But it's just not working, especially with the people that he's bouncing off of. Mox, Archer, even Christian. We'll talk about that. Like so many people. It just he just looks awkward in comparison to the people he's facing. So pretty much Kenny built this explosive ring. He has a winning the match with Good Brothers interference. Obviously, Mox is handcuffed in the ring, left there to be exploded. Eddie Kingston comes out to make the save or attempts to make the save. The clock
for some reason,
0, right?
For
some reason, because they just had a long feud with had a bitter rivalry, but it's all friends wrestling, so they definitely were best friends, so they're rounding back to that. He throws his body over him in an effort to protect them, and then the sparklers go off, and that was it. There was no major explosion, there was no smoke, no nothing happened.
just
And
Gilbert.
It was cringy, and it was definitely a horrible end to the pay-per-view, because everybody knew these guys sold it, and they sold the dud. They definitely tried to sell a dud. The people online who were complaining, and I've seen a couple people in our group on Kayfabe Avenue on Facebook join the conversation over there. We've seen people predict like they should just say he had anxiety or something like that, and it caused him to faint over Mox, and that's exactly how they redeemed themselves. That's exactly the storyline that they went with it. Now, I don't knock AEW for incorporating their mistakes, acknowledging their mistakes, and trying to incorporate them in storyline. The Michael Nakazawa shit was hilarious, even though Mike had nothing to do with it. In reality, I'm referencing the Matt Sydal slipping in his debut.
What they could have done with Michael Nakazawa is that he put oil on all the detonators, and they kept on slipping out of his hands, the pirate's hands.
So right, he was in charge of the detonators.
He's like, Kenny gonna explode? No. And then he just pulls it off.
Something, right?
Yeah.
But they try to storyline.
It'll make sense that Nakazawa would protect Kenny because that's just the only way he has a job.
Well, literally, because that brother doesn't even wrestle at this point. He must be like a backstage producer or a trainer or something like that, right?
He's the one that helps all the Japanese people learn English and train for the American stuff.
Okay, so he's important. He does contribute in a major way. Shout out to Nakazawa. So yeah, they explained it with the anxiety route, and I felt like really like this was something that was explained that people in our group, the night of after that happened, the next day was saying this is how they can explain it. And it's like really like we feed in these storylines. I feel like they do pay attention to the fans, and they do pay attention to reactions and try to drift into the direction that the fans would fantasy book it. I guess that happens, more often than not. But that's how they explained it. What you think about this segment between them and the explanation on their end?
I don't give a fuck. Like shit, I didn't give a fuck when Eddie was overselling the dud, and I didn't give a fuck about the explanation. Like just own this shit. Like yo, it is what it is. Yeah. Just say that. Oh, Eddie, is whatever. He got shocked. That's all it was. He got shook. That's it. That's it.
He said you could respect me less or see me less of a man. You do what you want, but like it got the best of me. I passed out, and even Mox is like, yeah, Kenny just can't build the fucking ring worth a damn. And I would have rather that. Like Kenny just fucked up, like he's already a fucking joke. So why not swerve the joke on his behalf instead of Eddie Kingston, who's supposed to be the tough guy? That's where I was like, really? That's where I came from with that.
Well, you know, they kind of alluded it in the segment further along. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Which I said was gonna happen.
Yeah. So the next matchup, it wasn't even a match. I'm not ranking it. It was a straight up squash. I looked this way, I looked that way, and it was done. Cody Rose versus Sev Gargas.
Who?
Exactly. You probably missed it. You blinked, and it was over. So I will not even ask what the rank for this was. But this led to a segment with Cody about to celebrate and do what
Why?
he celebrated for nothing.
Why, bro? Like, why? Like, bro, why is that triangle only going for the tag team championships and Cody Rhodes?
I don't know.
Stop, bro. Like, come on.
So
now Penta's not. So now Penta by himself. Because mind you, and this is what that triangle wasn't with him. So Pentagon by himself isn't a feud with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And that triangle couldn't even back him up or anything like that.
It's the same case of the Nightmare family not supporting their Nightmare crew. You know, like,
bro, it doesn't make sense. And then it's like
sometimes they make people come out at moments where it's like they weren't needed, and then points where it's like it would make it look more cool or it's needed for visual, they don't. But I did like the fact that
you have Alex Marvez there, and it's like, yo, he's Dark Order, he's not Death Triangle. Like, come on, stop.
Yeah. But I did like that he was translated for Pentagon, and even though Pentagon couldn't, cut the promo in English, you still saw the charisma from him. I do like that they stepping him up. I do think Pentagon could be a future AEW champion or some type of TNT champion, whatever the case may be, because he's a standout. And if he has to go through Cody Rose to start getting that shine, fine. But it's like, what was Pac then? What was Pac's purpose in the triangle? Because I thought
why was Pac trying to go after Kenny?
Which he should have, because they still have beef.
Because mind you, 3 weeks ago, he was going after Kenny. What happened to that?
They just dropped that storyline. Kenny's storyline is so caught up with Impact. Kenny's about to face who is it? Rich Swann, I think it is.
Either Moose or
Rich Swann.
He's facing one of them animals.
Championship. So it's like
it's either he's facing a moose or a swan. It's one of them animals.
Word.
In the zoo called TNA or Impact.
So Pentagon does cut a good promo in this segment. I'll give him that. Does it kind of make sense him going after him when Cody really has nothing to offer him at all? Cody's not even closer to the TNT title than he is. So it's really like, what was the point of that? But we'll see. Cody, obviously, I love Cody. He's going to give a good match. Pentagon's going to give a good match. But these guys should be doing more than they are. And if you're going to split Pentagon from Rey Fenix, make it aimed for something, that makes sense for him. Why does he need a match with Cody right now?
Doesn't.
So
what he should be doing is going after that AAA Mega Championship.
That, and I will say somebody does need to bring Cody down a peg, because why do you need to celebrate when you just lost the Revolution? You just squashed somebody. Why are you celebrating?
Because I signed all your paychecks. That's why. That's why he's celebrating, because his girl's gonna have paid time off, and then he's gonna get PTO as well, free maternity leave. Why else? Why else?
I don't know, man. Let's move on to the next situation. I think you kind of predicted this too. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy want a rematch, and they're gonna incorporate video games and arcade games.
I told you
around the ring.
I told you that's
if they would have did that at Revolution, that match would have made more sense. That's what they should have did originally. But I think you was pitching it more like they actually played a video game.
What do you mean?
Right? That's what you
No, they wasn't actually playing video games. I said it would be a hardcore match with a whole bunch of video game shit.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, you literally predicted it. So that's gonna happen. Pretty much. This will probably be the more interesting part because I didn't find no interest in their match at
It's
Revolution.
not, yo, this match is gonna be trash as well. Cause like it's like, what are you gonna do with a arcade cabinet? Smash the head, smash the head.
You saw
smash
what
that.
they did.
How old is that gonna get?
But
But
see Canadian Destroyers on there or some craziness. You don't know. They did give us a crazy parking lot brawl a few months back.
But those are cars. Cars are larger. They have different components. How many times are you gonna slam somebody on the fucking screen, on the cabinet?
Yeah,
it's not like they have fucking car doors that we could bang somebody in. Not like you could put them in a trunk or something. Like, what are we doing here? And then on top of that, I bet you, it's not gonna be any old school classic arcade games. It's gonna be AEW games.
that I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. They did launch this AEW Casino app or something like that. I don't doubt it. But I think that'd probably still be a little bit more interesting than what we got at Revolution. And that's one storyline that hopefully after this rematch, we move along, which it seems like that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
So next up we got Stang.
Bang.
And he's about to talk about everything that went down with Darby Allin and his match against Team Taz, which I felt was hot doodle and hot garbage. The fact that 5 people can't beat 2 people, especially when 2 of those people out the 5 are fucking monsters. Overall, the cinematic match was awesome, and I did enjoy it, but the outcome made no sense to me. So Sting gets interrupted by the Murder Hawk Lance Archer, which do I want to see Lance Archer fight Sting? Like, I can't see Sting taking his finish, like ever.
The claw?
The one that he
You're not gonna do that to him.
That's what I'm saying. Kind of like does that.
He's gonna hit him with the claw.
That power bomb. What is it? It's like a. What is his move? What would you describe
it's a crucifix.
It's like a crucifix. Like
it's a crucifix.
Sit out, right?
It's
like
a reverse crucifix power bomb.
Reverse crucifix, like sit out power bomb, right?
Yeah.
Some shit like that. But
he's gonna use the claw on him. That's it.
Well, yeah, that would make more sense with Sting. But would that even be a good match if Sting is Sting gonna continue giving us cinematic matches? Like,
yes. I'm gonna tell you how exactly this one's gonna go. It's gonna be just like the ones that Barbie directed in his backyard with the ring and the 25 different people that all tries to charge at Lance Archer. It's gonna be the same exact style. There's no doubt in my mind that's exactly the route they're gonna go with this. Because Sting really can't go. He's 61 years old with a neck injury. What can Sting do? What can the icon Sting do that Ric Flair currently can do?
Listen, the fact that he won with a Scorpion Death Drop to Ricky Starks pissed me off. So he can't do much.
Like, and it's like, yo, for that, you might as well just give him the Scorpion Deathlock.
That's what I said. That would have been a better ending to that match than the fucking Scorpion Death Drop. I never liked that move. Sorry, Sting. I love you, but I never liked the Scorpion Death Drop. I never saw it as a signature finisher. I never thought it was a good move.
Because it's not really that impactful. It's like, oh wow, I'm just gonna fall back a little bit. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know. The Scorpion Death Drop, every time I see it now, it just reminds me of Jeff Hardy versus Sting, and how he did that one Death Drop for the win. It was hard.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why, you know. It's because that Scorpion Death Drop is now the most protected finisher ever because Jeff Hardy did it.
All right, so next
like, straight up.
We're gonna see more from the Murder Hawk and Sting down the line. But we had Dasha Gonzalez with QT Marshall and Lee Johnson. So that was weird because would you allow someone who purposely lost the match, eliminated your own teammates from your faction, eliminated himself, and then spit one of the co-founders of the Nightmare family in the face? Would you allow him to next team up or manage your one of your rookies the very next episode?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Well,
You want to know why?
that's
Because Dustin
Nightmare
Rose
family
has
shit?
nothing. Because Dustin Rose has nothing to do with the Nightmare Factory.
But he's Nightmare family. They're all
All right, but
Nightmare family.
he's not Nightmare
They're
Factory.
they're
Dustin has
part
his
of the
own
stable,
wrestling
though.
school.
But they're part of the stable.
Dustin has his own wrestling school. So I'm thinking where this is gonna go is that it's gonna be elevation beef where you have Dustin's students versus Cody students. That's the only realistic way this is gonna go.
That'll be really fucking dope.
That's the only way I can see this going because QT is the head trainer of the Nightmare Factory. And then you have Dustin Rose, who basically owns Dustin Wrestling Schools or Rhodes Wrestling School, something like that. But
if it wasn't for the end of this upcoming match between Lee Johnson and Ethan Page that QT was out for, if it wasn't for the way that ended, I would have said they should have kind of low-key positioned this so Dustin can leave the Nightmare family and take his rightful place as 7 of the Dark.
It's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
You're breaking up. Say that again.
Dropped so long ago that it doesn't even look like that storyline been dropped so long. It doesn't even look like it's gonna happen because of Royalty's death. Because they were supposed to start a war between the Nightmare family and the Dark Order, but it never came. So it is. I don't think that's something that's gonna happen.
So we got Ethan Page first one-on-one debut on Dynamite against Lee Johnson. This was a pretty decent match. I won't lie.
But you mean EC Page?
ET Page?
EC Page right there.
Oh, EC Page?
Yeah.
Debut-wise?
Yeah.
Lackluster debut-wise. So he ends up getting the win. I feel like I get it because Ethan Page is debuting, but Lee Johnson didn't need this loss.
They could have put anybody. They could have put Aaron Solo, bro. Like, come on.
Right. Senor Bailey, they should have definitely put him instead of Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson needs all the wins, especially after coming off of all those losses. So I felt like his wins should have meant something.
Yeah. And exactly, and now he doesn't even have a winning streak no more. So what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, so
it's Page, like, come on, man. Like, what are we actually trying to do?
I don't know. I feel like
with this whole shit,
for the most part, if you aren't a top tier star in AEW, then they don't really have too many long-term goals. I feel like they just care about the top maybe 10 people, and then everyone else is just a random shuffle of the deck.
Yeah. It really sucks that, you know, a lot of talent is like that.
They like casino themes, right? They probably backstage, they put a name on each card of the deck, shuffle the cards, and pick out cards, and that's how they book matches for the random.
That's probably, yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like, because there's really no sensible booking at all here.
Yeah, so after the match, QT ends up letting Lee Johnson get beat up by Ethan Page after the match. QT just straight up watches. Dustin Rhodes comes out to make the save, and QT just walks off. He doesn't do anything. He just walks away. Commentary was funny because he was like, look, he's not doing anything. He's like, or is he just leaving? Like, So JR
I
has
mean,
his moments.
it is what it is. I mean, it's consistent with the Nightmare Factory.
Yep. Oh, you need help? I'm out of here. Literally. I'm looking at you, Arn. So
See you later.
next up we have Alex Marvez with Adam Page and the Dark Order. And they're on this, I guess the tractor or the lawnmower that Matt used to ride as Broken Matt. He's on it with a whole bunch of Dark Order members, and they're enjoying all of Matt's money pretty much. So that was pretty much it. That was the gist of it. We have Kenny Omega, Don Callis, the Good Brothers, in a segment that was supposed to be for Christian. He was supposed to talk for the first time after signing on Revolution on Sunday. So once again, Omega takes the spotlight. Gallows and Anderson come out and they start talking about the firework thing again.
Oh, that. Well, I'm not gonna confirm or deny. Yo, right. Come on, yo, Cyrus, the virus, come on, at least change a little bit of your character. You've been portraying the same character since I was 13. Let's put it like let's keep it 1,000. Since I was 13, Don Cal has been the same ass character, the same talking, the same mannerisms. Like, yo, come on, man.
Yeah.
We had to deal with it with ECW. We had to deal with it in New Japan, Impact, now AEW / Impact, NWA, CMML, Triple R.
Yo,
so it's like, yo, like you need to switch it up, man. Like it's always the same beats with him. Is always this. It's like, yo, be like Chris Jericho. He always reinvents himself. He doesn't always talk with the same monotone. Like I taught the Miz and all of that. No, he switches it up once in a while, and that's what you need to do. If you're trying to become a serious heel, like he's really trying to be, switch it up, because you're being just as boring as Kenny. You're being just as boring as all the dick jokes on BTE.
Oh my god, the Good Brothers make me not want to watch. Like, they make me not want to watch BTE.
Like, yo, it's funny how it's funny how like BTE went from like a travel blog with inside jokes to 90% dick jokes.
Like, no disrespect, because nobody probably deserves the treatment that some people get in WWE. But if this is what the fuck they had to offer Vince, I wouldn't have booked them either. All these fucking dick jokes and him acting like Gallows acting like he's jerking off every episode on every BTE, like he's corny. It's not even like good comedy. Like, it's just corny. Like,
it's like, yo, Tom Green and Johnny Knoxville want their comedic spark back.
That, and or it feels like when American Pie was popping, but they made all those trash spin-offs that really had not much to do with the actual American Pies. That's their kind of comedy. Like, it's corny. Like, I can't with them. So this leads to well, they explained it. Well, they didn't really explain it. They said they won't confirm or deny whether he made a dud on purpose or not. But whether they did or not, it's a win-win, because he walked out with the title and they end up looking like fools at the end. And then we get more cringe. Kenny Omega. 69 me, Callis. 69
First of all, I know for sure they got in trouble with the network because of that.
What the fuck did we even watch? Like, that was cringy to me. Cringy as fuck. Eddie Kingston comes out and tries to defend himself. Kenny's mocking him, and he does that 69 shit. Oh, 69 me.
But it's like yo Kenny, and it's like yo Kenny, you're gay. So it's like you can't even deny that. And it's like, yo, bro, why are you making homophobic jokes right now?
Right.
Can we be honest?
Right.
Why are you making homophobic jokes?
If you're gay and you want to represent correctly, don't make fun of what you are. I mean, he's never 100% confirmed, but that whole Kota Ibushi thing, yeah, for sure. But it's cringy as fuck, and that aspect I didn't really even think about it. The fact that he's making homophobic jokes, and he might be a gay man himself.
It doesn't make any sense.
So he ends up telling Kingston that he won't hit him, that he doesn't have the guts. Kingston, of course, knocks him off his feet. He ends up getting jumped by the Good Brothers. Mox comes out to make the save. They end up all disappearing for some reason, leaving Kenny in the ring. Then Christian finally comes out, and they just have a long stare down. That's pretty much it. Kenny tries to give him the hand, and then he says no.
And then Christian just holds up the belt, like, yeah.
Holds the, yeah.
Like this is the belt? Oh wow, this is heavier than I thought. Wow, let me just put it down.
He tried to hit the unprettier or the kill switch, whatever he's calling it nowadays. But Kenny ends up getting pulled out the ring, which allows him to but he didn't talk, he didn't do shit. Nothing came out, no purpose of why Chris is there. Seems like Omega's gonna be his next target. I don't know. We'll see. What you think about this whole shit outside?
I mean, I like the 5-second pose with the belt, but that was it. Like
the what?
I like the 5-second pose with the belt, but that was it.
Yeah, that was about it. We see more of Kingston and Mox's friendship redeveloping, and that's really the major twist outside of that. Then next up we have Dr. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito versus Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. So I have a few issues, and we spoke about this previously. The match was good, but it had a lot of cringe moments, and it just they need to have these girls actively work with each other. The Joshis and the American the international wrestlers, they need to integrate with each other's style before you just start throwing them together. And that was super evident throughout this entire match. The pace of the match, the way it was, the style of the wrestling, every time the Joshis were in the ring, it was kind of awkward when they would face off the Western style. It wasn't meshing, but every time it was like Thunder Rosa against Britt Baker, for example, that's when the action came back. I shout out to Ryo Mizunami, who really didn't suffer too much from that. But Shida,
I don't know that. First of all, because Ryo did some ultra cringe shit as well.
She had her moments, but she did have
with that. I'm gonna pull the rope twice and then tag somebody in like one.
They just need to we need to see them on Dark. This is what we need to see. They need to be on Dark, meshing first before they cross over our storylines. Why are we meshing these girls anyways when this Thunder Rosa Britt Baker thing's been dragging for a while now? We want to see that one-on-one already. Now the Rosa's already in the picture with Shida. Ryo just had her match, she lost, and then what's her name?
Maki
Ito. What's her purpose? She couldn't spell. She couldn't spell hitting someone, hitting Shida with a microphone.
Her purpose is to be the most famous Joshi in AEW, because that's technically what she is. Name one Joshi that's more popular than Maki Ito right now.
Shida.
No, not even close.
To the American audience,
Shida,
fans,
even
Shida.
with the American audience, is not as popular as Maki Ito only being in DDT.
I don't know.
It's the truth.
You should run some polls on that.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
You should run some polls on that.
If you know people who watch Joshi's and everything, more times than none, Maki Ito's name will be mentioned more than Shida does. Yeah. And that's just a guarantee. That's just because you got to understand with Shida, she's not that much of a charismatic character.
No, she's not at all.
Maki Ito is nothing but charisma. That's all she is. She's a whole showman. She was a pop idol who got fired.
I could see the comedic. I could definitely see the comedic elements about her. She's from
DDT. That's all you need to know. That they're comedic wrestlers. Like, Kenny Omega came from DDT. That's why he gets sometimes comedic.
The in-ring got a match, and she didn't mesh well with anyone in that ring. And the fact that you can't even hit Shida with the mic, like, are we playing at wrestling or are we actually wrestling?
Well, you got to look at her. She's frail. That's it. Like, she's supposed to be cringe. She's supposed to do the singing. Like, honestly, she doesn't even care about winning most of the time.
I feel like
most of the time it's all about her being cute so that she could attract more simps because that's how she gets the money. That's all her gimmick is. Like, to be as cringe as we want.
Definitely play to that gimmick.
That's the shit. Because if you notice that when somebody strikes her, she cries. She cries, and when somebody hits her in the head, it hurts them. Who do you know when you hit somebody at a certain spot, they get hurt. Like the person that hit them gets hurt. Joey Ryan, you know where he got that spot from? DDT. Who does Maki's from? DDT. The hard head that Maki has, because she's a girl, she's hard-headed. That is so literal that she has the most hardest head in all of professional wrestling, which is why her finisher is a diving headbutt and her falling down into a diving headbutt. That's her thing. Like it's just so many layers of comedic messed into one, and that's what Maki Ito is. She's the one that unites the degenerates and the simps to go after her and everything, and that's why she's so popular. Because honestly, let's be honest, she doesn't really have that much in-ring talent. It's just that she's the cutest in the world, and that's her gimmick. I
feel like if AEW showed us at least these Joshis at least a little bit of a quick 1-minute package where it showcases what they're about, maybe the highlights of like certain matches or something, just to give us an idea of what to kind of expect, I think it would have protected her gimmick even more. Like, we would be like, okay, we expect that, we know this is her thing, It's like Orange Cassidy. He's a complete joke gimmick, but when he has to turn on the in-ring skill, he has it. Kenny Omega is a joke.
Yeah, but for the first couple of months, people didn't know that. They just thought he was that ass, and that was it. And that was his whole thing. Just give it a few times. Just give it a few. Maki will go over like she always does, because she has the charisma for it. That's all it is.
The way the Joshi's been booked in AEW, and the fact that I know that it's not that I know, it seems visible on TV that they're just not meshing, and they don't have enough time with the American wrestlers, the Western wrestlers, to make classic matches together.
Because right now they're not going after. It's
like this match.
Because you got to understand
2 matches.
You got to understand they're not going after top tier Joshi. If you really think about that, who's a top tier Joshi in AEW right now?
I don't know. You will have to tell me that.
Nobody. Other than Maki Ito, who? Rio? No, Aha. Probably because she's a legend. But other than that, who? Emi Sakura? Who likes to be Freddie Mercury all the time? Like, she's good in the ring. But when you first debuted as in AEW, you dressed up as Freddie Mercury, and that's your gimmick over there and everything, and people love it. But people over here are gonna think of you as a joke. And then when you get, and then because here's the thing that happened over this past week, she got mad that people calling you a joke wrestler. If you book yourself as a joke in your own promotion, what do you think other people gonna look at you as? And then on top of that, like when I say like they don't book like the top tier Joshi, they're not booking Joshis from Stardom. They're booking from Tokyo Princess, Ice Ribbon, DDT, basically like, the outlaw Japanese promotions. And it's like they're not getting like a Kairi or a Io or a Asuka. They got Shida, but that's it. They got Aha Khan. She's a legend, but what she's really doing. They got Ami Sakura, but what is she doing? They got Mei Segura. What is she doing? But other than being a cheerleader to Ami Sakura,
you don't know shit about the Joshis.
And the thing is, the fucked up thing is that I don't even think Tony Khan knows how to book these Joshis.
He don't
because
you study all the Japanese wrestling, right? You keep up with all the women wrestling over there. You keep up with New Japan as much as you can. All that. For somebody like me who's knee deep in the Western American wrestling, all the WWEs, AEWs, try to keep up with the NXTs and stuff like that. That is I'm the casual fan. I'm as far as where they're pulling this talent from. I'm the casual fan in AEW. I'm the casual viewer. I don't know that aspect of wrestling. I know my legends. I know, for the most part, the big people in New Japan and stuff. But these Joshis, like you said, they're not getting pulled from the big promotion like Stardom or whatever the case may be. So I'm only going based off what they're showcasing. And every time the Joshis is showcased, there's crazy botches. They're not meshing well with the other wrestlers, and it ends up being a cringe match. This match was good because this match was a tale of two matches. Every time the Joshis clash, it was a different style, and every time the other women clash, the adrenaline stepped up and the pace of the match stepped up. And I gotta credit Thunder Rosa. I gotta credit Nyla Rose and Britt Baker for that. I agree. I don't think Tony Khan knows how to book Joshi.
Well, you want to know how I know Tony Khan doesn't know how to book properly? Because a couple weeks ago at the Women's Eliminator Finals, there was a 3-on-3 match, right? You had Shida, Emi Sakura, and I think it was Rio. No, Rio was on the other side, and there was somebody else. And then you have on the other side, Emi Segura's Young Bucks, basically, because she comes out with two people with that dress up as Freddie Mercury because she's the queen, or blah blah blah, whatever. So you're trying to tell me you split them up, put them at different sides in a 3-on-3. Instead of having Emmy with her bucks.
I wouldn't even realize that.
It didn't make any sense.
If I'm not following all the all the Japan wrestling promotions and all these minor indie promotions, I'd be lost, and he's not presenting it.
And you know what? But here's the fucked up thing. But here's the fucked up thing. Every single one of Entrances and Emi Sakura, they was there. But you didn't want to put them together? It doesn't make any sense.
Same way the main tag teams of the stable, none of them are the actual tag teams.
It's like think about it like this. It's like the Elite, which is the Bucks and Kenny Omega, in their prime in New Japan, and then all of a sudden the Bucks are facing a team, and Kenny's on the other side. What? How does that even make sense? It doesn't. Like, come on. And then when it comes to the casual viewer, Tony Khan don't give a fuck about the casual viewer.
He
does that many times. He showed that many times.
Dynamite had a huge drop in ratings after Revolution.
You know who's in charge of keeping the casual viewer? Cody. Everybody else does something else. Kenny's focusing on the world title and the Joshi's. Motherfucking Young Bucks focusing on the tag team division. Tony Khan, he just did like, oh, I'm gonna bring in as many things as I can, even though I'm not gonna explain it and everything, because you should know better. Because if you watch the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in New Japan, then you have access to know how to get to watch DDT, Stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro, Tokyo Princess, Ice Ribbon, DDT, Noah, Impact, CMS.
I would have no life.
Everything.
I would have no life, Tony Khan. I would have no life. All basically, is a 1 minute package.
So basically,
showcase
Tony's under the impression that you watch all of this shit, including BTE.
No, I don't.
Danny's vlog. He's under the impression, and nobody's gonna tell him, and nobody's gonna tell him different, because that's what he thinks.
Listen, I watch more wrestling as a casual fan. I watch all of the WWE programming. I watch all the AEW programming for the most part. I try to keep up with NXT. I try to keep up with what's happening in New Japan. Even though I hate it, I still know what's happening in Impact here and there. The major stories and the major goings on changes, I know what's happening, but I hate Impact. It's too much if you try to tell me I got to add 10 more promotions to that list.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That's exactly what Tony Khan wants you to do.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Tony.
And to tell you the truth,
have time for that.
I've been suspected. I've been suspected this a long time ago, and all of this is just basically confirming it. Like, yo, he doesn't give a fuck about how you currently feel. If you need to research something, do it on your own time. That's basically how he feels. We're gonna put you on with this character. That's it.
Yeah, if you don't know who they are,
exactly. Google. Cool. Do your Googling. Do your Googling.
So
go watch DDT and all that shit. It's like, yo, come on.
Because
he's not gonna explain shit, because he doesn't know how to explain shit.
Yeah, he doesn't. Not cohesively. He eventually explains stuff, but he doesn't do it cohesively. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo and bullshit in between his explanations of stories. But the winners of this match was Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. Then after that, the heels of the match attack, and they end up standing strong. Any last thoughts on that?
For Maki, because she got knocked the fuck out.
As she should.
That shit was funny. But my thing is, like, you shouldn't, if your gimmick is that you have a very strong hand, you shouldn't be holding your head.
Yeah.
Like know your gimmick. If you have a really strong head, but then again, she did miss that diving headbutt from the top of the rope. I guess that's the reason, right?
Yeah, it hurt herself. It's so hard to hurt herself.
I mean,
overall, I give the match about a 7.5. Maybe I'll give it a 7. I'll give it about a 7.
I give it an 8, just on the simple fact that I think it was Britt Baker. She grabbed Mikey Ito's middle fingers and did a hip toss with that.
What the hell?
You didn't see that?
I didn't catch that part.
She was flicking her off, and then they were flicking each other off, and then Britt fingers and then threw her.
I'm done.
Yo, that shit had me dying. Yo.
So, what do you rate the match? Oh, you said 8, right?
Yeah.
All right. So next up we got Matt Hardy with Not So Private Party, the Green Party, with the news that Matt signed Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Do they have any idea what the fuck they want to do with Butcher, Blade, and Bunny? They
No,
joined
because
every
first it was
faction outside of Dark Order and Inner Circle at this point.
first they joined MJF. Then, oh my god.
Then they
Yo,
was with,
I honestly don't know.
They were the family. The Bunny was a part of the Nightmare family. They made their own family with Eddie Kingston. What else? Am I missing something? I'm pretty sure there's another stable out there that they joined real quick. Well, this is the new one. This is the new one.
And it doesn't make sense.
Matt Hardy hired them, even though he just lost a whole quarter worth of money. He says that he still got money. He's been making money since, he was a kid. Makes sense. But he hired them to go after the Dark Order for what they did to him. Whatever.
Where's TH2?
Who he should have really hired. Yeah, he should. Where? What happened to him? Didn't he tell?
Oh yeah, let's just rip a stable apart and put another one together instead of having two stables so we can have them feud against each other.
It's ironic.
I guess
that you said that. we'll touch on that. But the next match is the TNT Championship, Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin. And Darby was forced to defend his title because he hasn't done it in like a month.
His last defense was Joey Janela.
For what? I still don't understand for what. He wasn't even on the ranking. And Joey Janela's gone again.
Because fucking Darby Allin wanted the match.
Horrible. It's horrible. The matchup was pretty good though. I did enjoy this. They had a lot of high flying spots, a lot of dives outside the ring, as you should expect. There was a cool spot that I did really enjoy. Scorpio Sky hits like the cutter from after Darby Allin dives to the outside. He hits the cutter to the outside. That was pretty dope. What do you think about this matchup? Darby Allin ends up, of course, retaining. Poor Scorpio Sky.
They should have just Scorpio win that shit.
Scorpio is like doomed to do nothing.
Literally, like they killed the whole momentum. The whole
SCU was one of the biggest.
And first and foremost, how come Scorpio Sky didn't get elevated on the rank system after he won that match? Since we want to get all technical now.
Yeah, that's true.
Where's Scorpio Sky on this ranking system?
I guess they were like, why?
Well, he is actually contending. They were like face for the TNT championship.
They were like, why rank him when he's just gonna lose?
It's fucked up, bro.
I mean, that's the only sense that it makes to me, honestly. Why put him on the rank? We're gonna take him off tomorrow.
This is the second TNT title match where he lost. If he has a third one, I already know whose money I'm gonna bet on, and it's not gonna be Sky. I'll tell you that. It's definitely not gonna be Sky.
He's gonna be known as the loser of the TNT title, the most losses.
That's horrible, bro.
Probably never attain it. He's the reverse Cody. He has all the opportunities to win it, but never wins it.
Geez, I wonder what's the difference between him and Cody.
The vice presidency. So let's move on to the next segment. Wait, did we rank that match?
Yeah, it's a 10. Next match.
It's a 10. It's more like a good 8. I'll give it an 8. So back to the ironic thing that you said that they tear stables apart just to create new ones with the pieces of it. So we got the Inner Circle having a war, what they call the war council, and Jericho's like, we might need to add another member. MJF stops him like, no, I think we need to remove a member. signaling towards possibly Chris Jericho before that could happen. Sammy Guevara comes out. Sammy's been gone for a few weeks. Sammy comes out and for no reason shows a camera footage of MJF telling the rest of the Inner Circle to turn on Chris Jericho. There was no reason for this footage because he already had this footage weeks ago. We've been seeing it on fucking Dynamite this entire time. Dynamite's had the footage. So why the fuck we need to quickly assemble the footage tonight on his return? That was the only stupid thing I critique about it. But it shows, obviously MJF was plotting and he says, yeah, I admit it, and tells the Inner Circle to attack Jericho, and instead they all stand with Jericho. Jericho goes on this long-winded thing about how they keep in contact, how they knew he was a snake from the beginning. They were waiting for him to show his true face, even though he's shown it the entire time. Then, they took too long to whip his ass. That's the biggest critique. They took too long to try to whip his ass. He ends up in the corner, damn near crying, just to say, I swear, Chris, I wasn't trying to take over the Inner Circle. I was already forming my own. And then we get the 5 Horsemen formation. We get Tully, FTR. We get Shawn Spears and Wardlow. So I don't know what their official name is, but I'm going to just say the 5.
The Revelation.
The Revelation?
The Revelation.
That's a cool name, but they're the 5 Horsemen to me. So I did like the fact that they did exactly what I've been asking them these past couple of weeks. Can we fucking move on from this MJF bullshit? We all know where it's going. He's going to turn. He's going to try to do something. Hurry the fuck up. They listen. They finally listen. So the stable he created looks fucking strong. He's the charismatic mouthpiece. The next up, we got Shawn Spears, who's the sleeper. We got Wardlow, who's the dominant big guy, and we got the tag team FTR and the legendary manager in Tully. So it looks like a great stable. I'm on board from the very beginning. I'm happy because I do like MJF. I do love the Inner Circle. Just their storylines from Orange Cassidy into this MJF bullshit, it made me not like the group that I love. And finally, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. They have something they can sink their teeth into, a legitimate stable to not only help boost up New, but now you guys have something to war. We have tickets to Blood and Guts. So fantasy booking, whenever Blood and Guts comes back, I see the Blood and Guts match, Inner Circle, Chris's Inner Circle versus MJF's Inner Circle, whatever, the 5 Horsemen, Revelation, whatever they're going to be called. I definitely see that happening in the future. So what do you think about the ending? This is the ending of Dynamite. They pretty much end up brutalizing the Inner Circle, handcuffing Proud and Powerful, putting Sammy Guevara through a steel chair, head first, smashing a bottle over Hager's head, and of course, busting open Chris Jericho and powerbombing him off the stage as they close the show. So what do you think about this segment, the formation of this new stable, the state of the Inner Circle? What are your thoughts?
See, what everybody is not focusing on, what Chris Jericho said before MJF said they're going to kick somebody out.
He wants to add somebody.
Who is he going to add?
You don't think that was alluding to Sammy Guevara coming back?
No. It wouldn't have. Because everything went according to plan as far as everything went. It wouldn't have been Sammy Guevara. Because if you notice, he would say, I never wanted to hear that name, again. So obviously, it wasn't going to be Sammy Guevara. It's somebody else that's going to join the inner circle.
I don't think they need another person. They got their tag.
Chris Jericho said. Chris Jericho was about to say that somebody's going to join the inner circle before he got interrupted. Who is he looking at to join the inner circle?
I can't think of anybody who fits.
Ethan Page, the only person. That's it.
I guess to give Ethan Page something to instantly sink his teeth into, that makes sense.
Because on top of that, if you have the Horsemen versus Inner Circle, you have Inner Circle with Ethan Page. Let's just say they bring in Josh Alexander for Impact because, they can. Let's be honest, they can. They can bring Josh Alexander for Impact. We have the North versus FTR.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that eventually the inner circle is going to allude that Ethan Page is going to come, whatever. Somebody tags with Ethan Page, they lose, and then Ethan's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to bring somebody that I mesh well with, and it's going to be Josh Alexander. They're going to reunite the North in inner circle, and they're going to feud with FTR. Sammy Guevara is going to feud with MJF. Hager's going to feud with Wardlow. And then, of course, Proud and Powerful going to be the afterthoughts.
And
Chris Jericho.
That was the only critique that
Chris Jericho is going to probably feud with Tully. Not wrestling, of course, but with skits.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. I hope, of course, that does not come to fruition.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Tully
versus what did I tell you for the Jurassic Express and FTR match? Tully's gonna put his hands on Marco. What happens? Tully put his hands on Marco.
Tully actually wrestled. And not only that, this shit inspired Jake the Snake. Now Jake the Snake talking about he wants one more match. I don't want to see this.
He's doing DDPY.
It looks like he fell off that wagon.
Nah. If you would have seen Jake when he first started from what he is right now, like I recently said, a DDPY video.
No disrespect to Jake, but
he was way worse. He was way Jake the Snake was like double the size of what he is now.
That's crazy.
And then Razor Ramon, he was in a wheelchair before his Hall of Fame speech.
Razor.
And then they did DDPY. Look at them now.
Razor was
Scott Hall was in a wheelchair before the Hall of Fame speech that he did.
Oh, I gotta look that up.
When he got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
He did DDPY and ended up being able to walk again.
That's crazy.
And the same thing happened with Jake the Snake too.
That's crazy.
So, and it's like I put the video up in the Facebook group so everybody could go watch it. So go join our Facebook groups, check it out.
Well,
so with that being said.
Yeah, speaking of that, we could do this all day. Focus, where can they find you?
You can find me at 10_Muyo on Instagram and various other social media sites, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well,
like, share, subscribe to all our YouTube videos. Listen to us on Anchor. I think we're on Dazzler, Apple Podcasts, Castbox.
Almost every streaming podcast platform.
I'm trying to think of any other. We're not on Spotify yet.
Yes, we are. We've been on Spotify.
Oh, we're on Spotify. Oh, yes, we are. Fuck, damn.
So with that being said, you kind of broke off when you said it, but
we're on Spotify. We're on everything.
On everything. You can find him at @Tensi_Muyo. You kind of broke up on at that on Instagram. Send your hate mail to E.A on Twitter. We're not receiving no hate mail. Send that to him. Join our Facebook group. Join the conversation. You can find us, of course, at Kayfabe Ave. Like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube. Speaking of subscribing, click that support link on all those streaming platforms that Folk has mentioned, but more notably Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor. Click that support link. Donate to the podcast. Keep the lights on. Keep the Kayfabe Avenue train moving. That being said, I have been Kayfabe AJ. That's Kayfabe Focus. This was the AEW Dynamite wrap up. Kenny, leave the sparklers. We don't need the countdowns.
You know what?
Just take us home, man.
We should though. We should put the countdown though.
Put some
We should do the countdown
sparklers.
and the sparklers, and then put Gilbert, and then put Gilbert.
That probably would have been a big surprise had that closed revolution. With that being said,
I would have marked
Kenny,
out.
take us home, brother.
Bye and good